How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a video that just goes over Ski Masto, its current standing, and my overall thoughts on this token. Again, this isn't me promoting you to buy the token, sell the token, hold it, not financial advice, just simply my overall thoughts on the token. Have I done anything with this token, etc.? That's going to be the topic of today's video. So I wanted to do just a little refresh on this, especially with some pretty big news for other base meme coins. So this mostly pertains to those of you who have had experience with base as well as base's meme coins, which we've always gone over the risks that come with meme coins. But nonetheless, we're going to get into it and first talk about the two big developments that are going to shape what we eventually say about that of Ski Masto. So these two developments are actually pretty big, and this is after a period of time where we were waiting so long for Coinbase to list coins, and not only coins but base coins, and they've actually started to do that thanks to our help of Jesse Pollock. Base is starting to release meme coins and of course other coins as well, but two big ones they happened to release recently were that of Dog and Me and KeyCat. Now, here's what I'll say about that. Basically what happened is when there was the anticipation of these tokens being launched, what happened was we had a lot of people buying in the anticipation that this listing for both these tokens would push these tokens very far. We'd get a certain 2, 5, whatever X. People were expecting those numbers, so they were buying and causing the price to increase once the news of a listing came to be. Now, these tokens were officially listed today, and I believe KeyCat was down 35%. And again, these are at different times I checked. Dog and Me was down a significant amount as well. So basically, it goes to show that these listings really didn't do anything for these tokens short-term price-wise. I think that is the least important thing for us to be focusing on. If you bought just looking to get a nice pump and dump on this token, then if you were one of those who lost money, it's kind of your fault in that sense. But I definitely believe that this direction that we're moving towards with Base just releasing coins that are on the Base ecosystem like they should have been doing, I believe this is a great first step. Now, as this pertains to Ski, of course, the growing theory is that we are seeing these tokens launch every single year. Now, the growing theory is, as we've seen with these tokens, that they are simply releasing them a year after they were first officially launched, depending on if the community is still strong, if these are strong projects, right? And so that's essentially what we've seen with Dog and Me. They're around a year since their release. Of course, we're in March, or we're in April now, actually, in KeyCat. And so the theory is, well, we could see that with Ski Masto giving this a potential listing in early May for Ski Masto. Now, what this means specifically is that realistically, we won't probably see much happen in terms of Ski's short-term price action. But again, I honestly have moved away from looking at the short-term price action as something to really base things off of. I don't think a listing is going to push us into $1, $2 range. There's definitely a chance, but like in current market conditions, I don't see that happening whatsoever. Especially when we see KeyCat, Dog and Me, when we see what has happened to those two tokens, we realistically have not seen anything very significant. And so if we expect the same thing with Ski Masto to happen, then it's fair to say that Ski Masto probably won't do as well as a lot of people are theorizing. And you have to understand the reason a lot of people are theorizing that post-listing we'll see a $1, $2 Ski. The reason that their people are thinking this is because it's a belief that they've had and they are placing themselves behind. I used to believe this as well. But again, in December, if you were to list Ski, we would have easily crossed over $1, $2, in my opinion. Now that's not the case. We have to adapt our mindset. A lot of people don't. Therefore, they hold these beliefs to be true. then they get wrecked because a lot of these beliefs that are held by emotions. You don't want it to not be true, so you believe that it is. And so I feel like that's what's happening now with a lot of people. They're expecting things to do very well per listing. Now, if we see great market conditions these next couple of weeks, May comes around, Ski is listed, there is a chance. But nonetheless, right now, no, definitely not. Definitely not anywhere near $1 to $2. There's definitely a very small chance that happens, but it's not a chance I'd be willing to bet on. That's my overall thoughts on it. Do I think Ski Masto as a token has the potential to reach $1, $2, $3? Most definitely. This is a token that has a very good community behind it. They are very active. The Ski Masto community is very active, but also the team behind Ski Masto. By the way, there's no developer wallet. This is a funny story for those of you who are just jumping on the Ski Masto train, who have maybe joined recently. The team behind Ski Masto, who runs the X page, these are people who actually got rugged on initially when this coin first released. This coin was a rug, but the people liked the token so much that they stuck behind it, made the X page, and now are running the show. The community is fully running the show. That's what I really like about this project. And yeah, that's one thing that honestly is going to keep Ski going. There's no real risk associated with that of this just being a corrupt token. The community is very much just that, a community. But again, with very poor market conditions, I don't think we can expect realistically any coin to perform very well, no matter how good the news is of that token. Think of it this way. Think of the markets right now as a desert. All the water's kind of dried up and left just this bare desert. People are very dehydrated. And so the moment they get a little bit of water, aka a little bit of profit, they're going to take profit. Therefore, if you start to have a push, it's going to be a lot more drawn down than it normally would be because people are thirsty for profits. They've gone so far without not seeing any, they're going to want to take profits. That's another risk that we have with this listing happening soon. But I am one to say that I am not really looking at this listing myself and saying, oh, this is a definite, this you have to buy before the listing. Oh my gosh, this is going to, right? I'm more so looking at this as like, do I think this coin could, if we slowly progress over this year and heat up into Q4 is going great as we saw Q4 of last year. If I look at it that way, then I definitely still have money into Ski. But look where we're at right now. We're in a market direction where, to be completely honest with you guys, we don't know what direction the market's going to be going. You have people who have been bullish, are still bullish, but we've already gone over adaptability. And so they might just be stuck on these beliefs. There's people who are very bearish and have been bearish this entire time. And there's people in the middle. I am personally in the middle. I don't know what's going to happen next, and I honestly can't really give a best guess just because that's currently how the market is. In summer of last year, we were able to kind of say, yeah, there's a chance Bitcoin hits $100,000. You go back to my channel, I said something of that nature, and Bitcoin did hit $100,000 because we could see that going in sort of that direction. Right now, there's no clear direction. So I'd say for me in the markets, I've been trading. I've been learning how to trade the markets. I have not been so much as active as a spot trader with holding bags. And a lot of people get married to bags, and honestly, you're gonna have to let go sometimes. I'm not saying to do that yourself, again, not financial advice, but you have to understand that if you by any means have felt emotional towards your bags, you've lashed out to others for the cause of them, etc., right? Unless someone outright scammed you, you have to understand that at the end of the day, this is why it's so important to invest as much as you're comfortable losing. Because if it's an amount that you don't feel comfortable investing, it almost feels like a gamble to you, you should not put money into the market. You have to have some conviction behind it. And a personal conviction of your own. You can't just take someone's conviction that they personally believe in and just roll with it. That doesn't work. And so that will ultimately 9 times out of 10 leave you with no profits. I've seen it with a bunch of other people. I saw it with when I first started out. So that's one of the biggest takeaways I could say. But there's my thoughts on Ski Masto and just the overall market. I think it's great Coinbase is listing meme coins, especially those on base. That's a great change we've seen. And again, we're just going to have to see how the markets perform. I'm going to keep you guys updated on my trades because genuinely, if I'm able to find success with trading, I want to get you guys on that as well. And keep building, guys. Like at the end of the day, we just want to keep building here, keep building with one another and building each other up. And so with all that being said, guys, I'll see you later.